As far back as I can remember, I wanted to be a filmmaker.
If you're intrigued by movie making as a career, this isn't the class for you. But if you need to make movies, a movie, if you feel like you can't rest until you've, told this particular story that you're burning to tell in moving images and sounds, then it could be speaking to you.
You talking to me?
This is how Scorsese begins his masterclass, and when I heard those words, they cut right through me. I never saw filmmaking the same way again. It fundamentally changed my perspective on my passion. I began to see myself as a storyteller first and foremost. Everything around me spun into tales of inspiration. My world became more cinematic and I couldn't contain the stories inside of me. When you have a story to tell, it's like you have no other choice than to tell it.
You have to do anything.
Maybe that's the right attitude.
You have to do anything. You have to do anything. You have to steal a camera. You have to steal film.
Right.
You have to steal money.
Right.
And either you go to university. In my case, I had to go to university to be able to be allowed to use equipment.
Find the right space, so to speak, in which we could operate, and also try to learn more about ourselves, I guess. I'm not sure. And maybe about making a movie, And we're looking even more closely from this vantage point in our lives at the age of 75, 76. We're looking at friendship, betrayal, power, trust, self-preservation, and then maybe the possibility of a redemption. I know at least in my case, we all return to what obsesses us, what haunts us, to the questions that deepen and really become more mysterious as time goes by as we ask them.
One of the scariest aspects of any creative field, especially filmmaking, is developing your own voice. I often forget that greats like Scorsese had to develop a distinguished voice too. Making films is a way for us to learn about ourselves, an expression of who we are right now, like a journal entry in creativity. Over the course of making films, I have let my creative voice slowly develop. Each project naturally reveals an aspect of that voice and style. Whether I'm drawing from other directors or experimenting with new ideas, I'm constantly discovering who I am as a storyteller.
I come from a working class family. My mother and father weren't well educated. I was second generation, I guess, Italian American. There was no tradition of reading in the house, no books. Of course, I read in school, etc., books in school and that sort of thing, but it was more of a visual tradition, more if I was taken to movie theaters a lot. It was mainly visual literacy, what was happening at that time to me. I did not understand that was happening. What it made me realize was that there was an intelligence, another kind of intelligence, that was trying to tell a story through where the director, the writer, and the cinematographer, where they were focusing your eyes. Whether it was the camera may be on an extremely low angle, looking up at you. The use of the lens, the size of the lens. I began to understand certain lenses interpreted the story differently. A longer lens crushed everything together and made it flat. A wider lens stretched everything and sometimes distorted it, especially if camera movement.
Martin Scorsese lives and breathes cinema. From a young age, he suffered from asthma, meaning his time was spent exploring the worlds of film. Cinema is a language, and like any other language, I feel like we need to learn the literacy first by telling and watching stories from the viewpoint of a camera. I try to set aside as much time as possible to watching films, drawing inspiration from them, filling notebooks and SD cards with new ideas, delving into different kinds of films and styles that challenge my own tastes, going through the motions of finding my own voice and seeing it develop over time, telling stories to refine what represents me as a filmmaker.
You have to deal with, if you're making a film, to anyone who decides what you leave in the frame and what you leave out. And that's the fundamental issue. Where do you put the camera? Which take do you use? Where do you cut or not cut? That's the basic question.
How do we achieve authentic performances? Well, if you're Scorsese, you hire non-actors, your parents even, who are the characters themselves. I recently tried this with a short film about a father and son, getting an authentic performance from my own dad. Just like Scorsese casting his mum in his films.
Oh, he came in, you came in, I figured, you know, I'm so happy to see him. Look, go inside, make yourselves comfortable. I'll make you something to eat.
Go to sleep.
No, I can't sleep, not while he's home. No, I haven't seen him so long.
As directors, we strive for something authentic, something truthful. The script is a blueprint, a structure to be improvised around, working with actors to find truth in that narrative, creating space for experimentation and failure, a place of trust. And behind the camera, we collaborate to create the visuals, insisting on our vision as a director, but staying open to suggestions. If something unexpected works, use it. If a location changes your shot list, shoot around it. It is the job of the director to solve hundreds of these problems each day by looking at what is happening in front of you and reacting.
Make your own industry. Recreate movies. Don't pay attention to the industry. Do your own thing.
Perhaps the most important piece of wisdom from Scorsese's MasterClass is this. Filmmaking is an art form that is being reinvented each day. Styles change, audience habits evolve, where films are made and distributed is shifting. We are the next generation of filmmakers. We are locked and loaded with stories to tell, and we are ready to shake the industry.
Get the fuck out of here, Tommy.
You motherfucker! I almost had him.